until it was like film. Okay. And I don't even own makeup. Like, I have some lipstick. It's really old, so I put it on. It was in my pocket. I'm like, okay, good. All right, so now this isn't going to work. I'll just use this. Everything technical has failed me today, so I will just use this. Thank you, Pam.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks, Vlad. Thanks, Lori. Thanks, Jenny and Lisa, for being part of this. So my question today is about observation drawing. And the reason I want to talk about observation drawing, it's not cool, I know. It's just not cool. It's not interdisciplinary. It's not all these things. But it has so many roots and so many things, and I think it's the seed of so much great work that I want to address it because it's under-addressed. So, to observe or not to observe, that is the question. Why bother drawing from life? Why bother teaching observation drawing at all in post-secondary institutions? Is it still a valuable process to teach? Is it still a valuable practice for students, especially in our world of advancing technologies? Why do we need it? So to feed the juices for our think tank discussions after lunch, here are some thoughts. Michelle Fava, currently a doctoral student at the Laval University in the UK, whose research focuses on the central role of attention in drawing, in her article titled, "What is the Role of Observation Drawing in Contemporary Art and Design Curricula?" says, "Many have described observational drawing as a means of visual thinking and analytical learning. The processes enabled by drawing are even more fundamental and have to do with one's ability to concentrate, to attend, to consider, to observe, to comprehend. If practiced regularly, visual cognition can become embedded in one's thinking. This is partly a process of analysis, the activity of questioning what is seen. Marks which refer not only to visible but also to structural or relational properties can provide evidence of analytical thinking, not erasing mistakes, showing skeletal structure underneath the image to reveal the history and process of making, the constant reconsideration between what is known and what is actually seen." This is an image by Lucien Freud. So this drawing provides an example of this re-seeing process that highlights the abstraction of form, line, and tone. Although not realistic, it is very real. He says, as he says, the longer you look at an object, the more abstract it becomes, and ironically, the more real. The messiness and unresolved nature of life. What Antoine Artaud calls a world forever fixed in its incompleteness. Yes, he uses that to refer to cinema, but I am borrowing it. I am borrowing it because it describes the relationship between what is seen and what is known, which is never completely resolved in life drawing. And it's never fixed. It's never perfect. There is no one answer. When the drawing reveals itself, its growth, its adjustments, the curtains open, and we can look inside. We can see the process and the product in one image. Each year, in every school I've taught, including the AGO and OCAD, when I teach beginner drawing or first year drawing, I start to teach drawing from life, and I say, okay, no HB pencil. I suggest charcoal or ink and sometimes wire. And then inevitably, after class, always happens first or second day, somebody comes up to me and says, well, I'm really good at drawing with HB pencil from images. So if you really want to see me at my best, this is basically what I should do. And I say, okay, well, let's just give this a try. So then what will happen is maybe some will forget to bring their charcoal, and they'll just end up with an HB pencil, so we go from there. Or they'll bring an assignment, and the assignment has, obviously it's supposed to be from life, and it's this impossible life pose that there's no way it can be drawn from life, and there it goes. Can we switch to the slide? Okay. Okay, here's my pencil drawing from when I was 16. I love this drawing, and I thought I was a really good artist because I could copy. I found this just last week. I was rejected from OCAD when I was 18, and I believe this image, along with a much-loved belly button painting and probably some similar work, were the culprits. I ended up going to OCAD to take a figure drawing class that summer because back then you could do that. You could get accepted into part-time, so I got accepted into part-time when I was 18. And it inspired the rest of my artistic career, which ironically is sculpture and installation based. So drawing from life develops observational skills that require us to pay attention to things as they are actually seen. In my experience, the same skill helps develop the ability to notice things in our life so close they generally go unnoticed. Visually examining in detail the intricate physical qualities of objects, subjects, and the physical space around us provides a heightened awareness generated through this practice of seeing. This drawing process allows students to slow down and find inspiration from the everyday context of their life. At this point, the imagination is open to develop freer associations, giving way to less expectation of specific results. A more personally relevant, inventive, and resourceful approach to drawing and creative process in general often follows. Okay, the next slide, please. Thanks, Pam. In contrast to Lucien Freud's more abstracted representations, Stephen Wilshire has superpowers of observation and memory. He reproduces reality without filters. Stephen Wilshire is like the artistic, autistic version of Sherlock Holmes. Diagnosed with autism since the age of 3, Oliver Sacks writes about him in his book, An Anthropologist from Mars. Wilshire can look at a subject once and draw it with accurate and a detailed picture of it. This is an image of New York that he spent a 20-minute helicopter ride, and then he copied it in detail in this 18-foot-long piece of paper. He is like Holmes in his concise recollection of details. Wilshire draws both from observation and memory. His memory holds a picture-perfect representation of everything he sees. He has been referred to as the human camera with a documentary by that title. None of us will ever come close to this type of recall, nor do we need to. Although there are small inconsistencies that are pointed out in his film, this is seemingly effortless to Wilshire. I'm sure many students wish they could magically develop the skill, although it's very often the constant visual rethinking that gives life to an image. Just think about it. What do you think of this work? Let's just hold that. Speaking of Sherlock Holmes, he's one of my favorite characters, I have to say. BBC's version of Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock is one of my all-time favorite characters to date. The way he notices everything and he is able to think outside the box and look for details others miss, I love that. He looks for clues hidden in plain sight. His character is based on a real-life doctor who apparently diagnosed patients from sight, just looking at them, and with great accuracy. So from a book, A Scandal in Bohemia, Sherlock asks Watson, how many stairs lead up to 221 Baker Street? And Watson says something like, I have eyes just like you, but I don't see. And Sherlock says, you see, but you do not observe. The distinction is clear. Watson is like us. He doesn't remember as well. He gets distracted. If he were an artist, he may have trouble with observation drawing, because it requires patience and practice and the ability to concentrate. Not that Watson is stupid. He's not. He's just not as clear-headed and focused. Sherlock Holmes is described by the author Conan Doyle as the most perfect reasoning and observing machine the world has ever seen. Maria Canova, in her book How to Think Like Sherlock Holmes, suggests you can hone keen observation skills and think like Sherlock. Okay, I mixed up some observation drawing notes with Sherlock dictum from Konakova's notes. Okay, you just have to think about this. Which are which? 1, concentrate on the 3. Oh, can you change this?
Yep.
Okay, concentrate on the 3 most used senses: sight, smell, and sound. Because they are the most used, we tend to take them for granted. Yes, I know it's speak no evil, so it's not, but pretend he's smelling something bad. Because I just really like this image, so I wanted to use it, right? So concentrate on the 3 most used senses: sight, smell, and sound. Because they're the most used, we tend to take them for granted. Number 2, it takes thousands of hours of practice to notice the right details that others miss. 3, the little things are infinitely more the most important. 4, be mindful of being overconfident that you are right. You will overlook that you might be wrong. 5, look at your subject at least 95% of the time. 6, memory is fallible. Research and observe as well as imagine and remember. 7, notice connections between things that may have not been seen before. 8, look at what you actually see, not what you think you see. Okay, next image. Last one. It's almost done. So this final image is of a student work. Her name is Jermaine Chong. She's a student in my first year 1 CO2 class. Some of you here from that class, so you know her work. The drawing continues. So what happens is this drawing is from assignment that I gave, and what happens is that the model, you might know this model if people are familiar with OCAD models, and the skeletons and some still life objects. Students set up a still life. They started with collage from life, all collage, and then they were asked to go home and take the image home and do a collage image from life from home. And what she did is she did a digital. So she basically put it in the computer, and she used a Wacom tablet and drawing programs. So the last point I'd like to touch upon is gesture. Think about a life drawing class where the model expresses something you didn't expect. This is the last paragraph. This paragraph is from Milan Kundera's novel Immortality, and it's a great example of what examining life closely and with unexpected interest can bring. The novel begins with a woman's wave to her swim instructor. She walked around the pool towards the exit. She passed the lifeguard, and after she had gone some 3 or 4 steps beyond him, she turned her head, smiled, and waved to him. At that instant I felt a pang in my heart. That smile and that gesture belonged to a 20-year-old girl. Her arm rose with bewitching ease. It was as if she were playfully tossing a brightly colored ball to her lover. That smile and that gesture had charm and elegance, while the face and the body no longer had any charm. It was the charm of a gesture drowning in the charmlessness of the body. But the woman, though she must of course have realized that she was no longer beautiful, forgot that for the moment. There is a certain part of all of us that lives outside of time. Perhaps we become aware of our age only at exceptional moments, and most of the time we are ageless. In any case, in the instant she turned, smiled, and waved to the young lifeguard, who couldn't control himself and burst out laughing. She was unaware of her age. The essence of her charm, independent of time, revealed itself for a second in that gesture and dazzled me. The woman is old, but the gesture is young. To capture the tension and contradiction between these things expressed in a work of art is what observation brings.
Thank you.